Good evening. Good evening, all. We are back to session number 22 of Hellis Plantations Digital Learning Series, even with an expert, session number 22. As you know very well, today our topic is another different topic apart from previous 21 sessions. Today we are going to talk about total quality management, a game changer for Sri Lankan industries. If I give a brief intro to the topic, as you all know very well, the total quality management, commonly known as TQM, is the continual process of detecting and reducing or eliminating errors in manufacturing, streamlining supply chain management, improving the customer experience, and ensuring that employees are up to speed with training. This doesn't just help save money, but also reduces the time and personnel needed to correct deviations on the business process. One of the most famous example for TQM is, as you all know, that is from Toyota, Japan. And there are various other companies across the globe that are practicing TQM as one of their main management tool. To address this timely needed topic, today we have invited another eminent and very experienced expertise on this particular subject area. He's Mr. Kanishka Pereira. Following the protocol, if I introduce Mr. Kanishka Pereira to this session and to entire Hellis Plantations team. Firstly, I would like to warmly welcome Kanishka to this session on behalf of our Managing Director, Dr. Roshan Bhajsore, and entire team of Hellis Plantations management team from corporate head office and the states. So let me introduce Kanishka. He holds Masters in Business Management from University of Colombo, and he's a UK certified lead QMS auditor, and he holds National Diploma in Quality and Productivity Improvement. Mr. Kanishka Pereira has 25 years experience in quality, work 5 years for Japanese manufacturers and service providers, external lecturer of University of Moratuwa, and trainer and consultant and lead MS auditor, facilitated hundreds of ISO standard implementations at private, public, national and multinational organizations. He trained more than thousands in corporates as well as in national universities and institutions. Before I hand over session to Mr. Kanishka Pereira, I would like to invite our Managing Director, Dr. Roshan Bhajsore, to formally speak about a few words at the very beginning and do the formal welcome as well. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Anuruddha. Kanishka, Mr. Kanishka Pereira, if I may call you Kanishka, thank you very much for committing yourself to deliver your speech. And I think this subject could not have come at a better time, particularly in the plantation sector. When we think of quality, I think by tradition, by legacy, we have very narrow framework. We think quality is only the product. But I'm sure you are going to talk to us on a more wider angle, that quality in every aspect of our operations and management that we do. Even if you send a document, there's a quality aspect to it. So I'm sure you are going to touch on total quality management, and our managers and assistant managers who are in this forum are going to benefit. And thank you very much for taking the time. I appreciate that you devoting so much of time in a particularly time like this. And as we have had some outstanding presentations, I'm sure this is going to be even better, particularly because the subject is very relevant. It is appealing to all of us, and I look forward to your active contribution. So thank you very much for your time. Over to you, Anuruddha.
Thank you very much, sir. And so my invitation is to Mr. Kanishka Pereira. Kanishka, it's over to you. You can conduct the session from here onwards. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, MD Sir Dr. Roshan and Mr. Gamage. Thank you so much. And thank you very much for your participation, for actually inviting me for this valuable session. And straight away we'll come to the subject. Our topic today is total quality management as a game changer for current Sri Lankan industries. If you look at the current context, current crisis, dollar crisis, oil crisis, if you look at all those things, if you look at the root cause, so from the beginning, if you look at the root cause, where we stand. If you go back to 1950s and look at Sri Lanka's industries, where we have gone. So I think TQM has the answers for most of our burning issues of this country. So we'll look at today's key areas we are going to touch. One is we need to have a basic clear understanding about total quality management. The participants, I think, have been given 1 hour's time. 1 hour's time will not be adequate to teach you total quality management. That will take a few months to teach total quality management system. But this within this 1 hour's time, I'm trying my best to create some interest in your heart to learn this valuable subject and try to implement it your your area of concerns. So first topic is for the understanding. Then other next purpose of learning is we'll touch the history a little bit, how total quality management system came to this world. Now, what is the phase of it? What are the new facets of total quality management system, and how to create some enthusiasm in your heart to go for TQM implementation. And I'm going to explain you some of the tools and techniques you all can use in order to implement TQM to your workstation. I'm going to take you some of the tools, take you through some of the tools which can be used. At the same time, we will discuss how it can be customized, because this is a tool mainly developed in Japan and the Western world, and how it can be used for a colonial culture like Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Pakistan, mainly this subcontinent. We all have a colonial culture. So how it can be used for this sort of Sri Lankan context, how it can be customized, going to be, I would be very happy if I can cover all those areas. So then if you look at the history, of TQM, I think you all know in 1920s there was a urge in learning mainly in European and American Western companies. They all have started the first seeds of quality management, not quality control, not quality assurance, quality management. The first seeds were planted in the US, UK, Germany, and Japan. So in 1930s, Dr. Schwartz is the guru of Dr. Deming. Dr. Schwartz introduced statistical analysis and control of quality, statistical process control techniques and all came up by Dr. Schwartz. Then simultaneously, Toyota Corporation, Mr. Taichi Ohno, started working as the factory manager of Toyota Corporation. And at the same time, after a little while ago, after the Second World War, defeat of Japanese people, Professor Dr. Ishikawa started his career with Tokyo University. Those are some of the turning points of eye-openers for total quality management. Mainly, I would say mainly Toyota's factory manager, Mr. Taichi Ohno, he said in late 1930s, Mr. Taichi Ohno said, from today onwards, I'm going to forget about the product quality of Toyota car. You heard, no? I mean, you follow, I believe. From today onwards, I'm going to stop focusing on the quality of Toyota car, the product quality. What do you mean by product quality? That means quality control. Toyota particular car or the particular products quality means quality control. So he said, I'm not going to worry about Toyota car's product quality, but I'm going to be worried about the quality of our customer relationship, quality of our processes, our manufacturing, our servicing processes, quality of our leadership, how our top corporate goals, how our top management goals are cascaded downwards to the frontline managers. The smallest manager in Japanese context is supervisor. So all those things, the main four areas: customer relationship quality, process quality, leadership quality, and how we engage people in a quality manner. So those four attributes of quality was defined in Toyota company in late 1930s. So that was the beginning of total quality management. He said, I'm not going to worry about product quality, and I'm going to worry about those four areas of quality. So at that time, Japanese automobiles were not sound in technology like US Ford, Chevrolet, UK Ford, USA Chevrolet, and General Motors. So they were not Japanese Japanese technology was not so sophisticated like the Westerns. But Japanese people decided product quality is going to be a byproduct. Product quality will come automatically. It's a byproduct. But we are going to be focused on process quality. So we are going to be focused on those four facets of quality: process, customer, leadership, and the engagement of people. So in 1960s, Professor Ishikawa contributed in Japanese quality management system implementation. And in 1980s, from 1980s onwards, ISO 9001 standards came. So ISO 9001, ISO 22301, those standards, mainly ISO 9001 is a model of total quality management system. So this is the history. So we'll go faster. So we are going to define a bit total quality management system. We have already defined. So these are the technical definitions. I'll read out one definition. It's a management approach to long-term success through customer satisfaction and a delighted client base. In total quality management, all members are engaged, even the management to top management to top to bottom, bottom to top, all are engaged. So in improving processes, products, services, and the culture in the organization. So that's a kind of a holistic definition, but there are several definitions about TQM. The mainly keep in your mind, TQM is nothing but improving the quality of your customer relationship, not only customers outside, customers, internal customers as well as external customers. So in your organization, you get several internal customers. But in order to see your internal customers, you need to see processes inside your organization. You need to see processes inside your organization. Without seeing processes, you may not be able to identify internal customers. Okay, so coming down. So keep in your mind, total quality management is not about the product quality. That is quality control. So there are three definitions. There are few definitions of quality. I'm say three definitions: quality control, quality assurance, quality management. Are they the same? May I type it? Quality control, quality assurance, quality management. Are they the same or different? Quality control. Quality control means quality of product. Quality of product. Quality assurance is quality of processes. Quality management is quality of management, including leadership, customer, as well as engagement of all people. and benchmarking and global networking and benchmarking. Global networking and benchmarking. Global networking and benchmarking. So these are the definitions of these three explanation of quality: quality control, quality assurance, quality management. So total quality management covers all these things. Actually speaking, more than quality control, total quality management covers quality assurance and quality management. So I think it's very clear to you all. Sure. So we'll look at the traditional 8 principles of total quality management. Hello, am I audible, Mr. Gamage? I'm audible, right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you, Kanishka.
Okay. These are the traditional. I'm very sorry. I'm in a power failure. I'm working on backups. That's why that's why the light has gone with darkness. So right. So these are the traditional 8 tools of total quality management. These are the traditional 8 tools of total quality management. Mainly at the time from Toyota, from Mr. Taiichi Ohno's time, these were the traditional quality management, total quality management principles, like supply relationship management. If I look at supply relationship management, the systems approach, that means systems, mainly systems means now in our human body, if you look at our human body, we have several processes. We have respirative process, we have food digestive process, we have we have blood circulation process, but all these processes are working in a harmony. So if you lose the harmony, if one process is not working, we lose our harmony. So then we are sick. So that processes working in interaction with harmony is called a system. So systems approach is that. Continual improvement, you all know, continual improvement is the continuous improvement and the project-based improvement. That was from there it was there. And decision making based on facts and figures, not no emotional decision making in total quality management. Those are mainly on that's an old approach. So new approach, there are some changes in new approach, that is decision making on factual approach, facts and figures based decision making, and seeing processes inside our organization. Seeing processes inside our organization, naturally we know we have functions, departments in our organization. But if you want to improve, if you want to be a TQM organization, we need to say processes inside our departments. If you look at in a short term, if you look at in your HR department, if you have a human resource management department, we have processes like recruitment is a process, selection is a process, employee appraisal is a process. If you go to our logistics function, let's say our materials control department, we have managing inbounds is a process, managing our inventory is a process, managing outbounds is a process. Likewise, even in production process, you can see several production processes. Likewise, even quality control can be a process. Quality assurance also can be a process. So likewise, we need to see processes in our organization. The building blocks of a process is a task or activity. So tasks and activities which are done by multiple departments or multiple people in multiple departments make a one process. So processes can be cross-departmental. But we need to see processes inside our organization. That was the old approach, but the same approach is there, but with more value additions. And leadership. So here the leadership, we have a lot of things to discuss about leadership. Leadership is not your MD. I mean, leadership includes from supervisor to managing director, all are leaders. Japanese people think the smallest Japanese manager is supervisor. Supervisor, the frontline manages in the frontline. Supervisor is the smallest leader. So supervisor to top management all become leaders. How your corporate goals are translated and cascaded downwards to or up to the supervisory level as objectives and key performance indicators. That is the quality of leadership. So included here. In customer focusedness, we'll discuss further how customer grievances are handled, how customer satisfaction levels are proactively measured with all those things were there. Even if you look at Japanese Toyota, I'm some examples. So one of my, you must be knowing the Ford. You must be knowing the Ford story. I believe you all know Ford story. A Ford story it's a very common story. In 1920s, Ford had the first Ford is the first car company who came up with a manufacturing line, because in 1920s having a motor car was a luxury thing. So ordinary common man couldn't have a motor car because cars were handmade. But Sir Henry Ford, he came up with a brilliant idea of production line concept. So as a result, they started to manufacture thousands of cars daily. So as a result, thousands of cars monthly. As a result, common ordinary man got a chance to own a motor vehicle. So that's why now one of my cousins have the first model of Ford car, black color Ford car, 1921 model, I believe, I guess. On the back of the car, Ford chairman's there is a it is engraved on the model's backside. Ford chairman's handwriting. Ford chairman's handwriting. It says you should never overtake a Ford car. So then, if you start to overtake a Ford car, your life is going to be just overtaking cars, because the roads are dominated by Ford at that time. But the Fords are originally black. You know how Japanese people came into car market. Japanese cars were initially failing in US highways. They were failing. Their engines were not having adequate capacity. But Japanese people are very good at monitoring proactively the customer needs and expectations. So that's why they have free service campaigns, free Sahara rallies, all those things. They monitor how their vehicles are performing in multiple terrains. So then slowly their R&D, their new product development, all are linked with their customer satisfaction and customer performance monitoring. So what they did was they realized that human being has a need for various colors. The Ford car was originally black. Ford chairman didn't want to change. He said, I'm the trendsetter in car market. I'm not going to change. Fords are originally black. But after some time, when you reflect back, where is Ford now? Where the Toyota is now? So Toyota has become the best car company. I think more than 10 years, Toyota has become the best car company. And where the profitability is concerned, they have the biggest, they have a very comparatively very high profit level compared to the second car company, the Volkswagen. So the reason is their added value is so high because they know exactly what customer wants. So they deliver exactly what customer wants, then customers are going to be satisfied. So that's I think we all know that is the customer focusedness of old quality management principles. And the engagement of people, at that time it was called involvement of people. So now it is more engagement of people. I'll explain new concepts. Okay, so when we go to new concepts, so these are the newly reworded concepts of total quality management today. So customer focus is that is still there. The customer focus, you can't change the customer focus. You can't take off customer from total quality management level. So now customer focus here includes, I'll go principle by principle. If you look at customer focus, these are the current total quality management principles, which is slightly tailored to modern world. So now we can monitor customer wise in various ways. We have social media, we can have focus groups, surveys, email monitoring, data. There are data mining tools. There are traditional customer satisfaction monitoring methods, and we need to know who are our customers. Not only the customers outside the organization, even the we call them clients. No, except the clients, there are lots and lots of customers. So if you have implemented processes inside the organization, so person who is depending on your process. So I told now your HR function inside HR department, there's a process called recruitment and selection. So customer is going to be other departments heads. So other departments heads may need their manning requirements. They expect HR to do the recruitments and selections on time, so that they will have the adequate the human resources on time. So there may be SLAs in between, service level agreements with inter-process service level agreements. When it comes to process approach, you have process to process service level agreements. So interdepartmental, inter-process service level agreements are created when you see the processors and internal customers and internal suppliers. So you need to identify all the customers. So your internal customer complaints, internal customer grievances may be reflected in a document called NCR. Have you heard of that? Hope you all have NCR. If you are an ISO certified organization, NCR stands for Non-Conformance Record. Most of companies practice this for ISO certification only. So this is a golden tool given with ISO standards. We are ISO 9001. I used to work for Japanese people since 1995. So at that in 1995, none of the Japanese companies wanted to go for ISO standards, ISO 9001. We had several proposals to go for ISO 9001. Japanese people said it's just a document control standard. We are not interested. But in year 2000, ISO organization, ISO is in Switzerland, Geneva. ISO means balanced. Their name, it's a Latin word. ISO, International Organization for Standardization. ISO meaning of ISO is balanced, like isopropyl alcohol, isocyanine and all. So ISO, International Organization for Standardization, announced that we are going to use having this golden tool to monitor internal customer satisfaction level. Monitor internal customer satisfaction level, that is called non-conformance management. So if you have not, if you are ISO 9000 or any ISO certification, if you are a certified organization, you have this tool in-house. But if you are not using it, please start practicing it now. Then you are going to have a database of your lessons learned. You call it a lessons learned log. You have a database of all the lessons you learned. So mainly non-conformities are non-conformities to company policies, non-conformities to customer requirements, internal or external customer requirements, non-conformities to standards, whatever the standards, even the plantation standards, whatever the industry standards, any non-conformances. At the same time, non-compliances with the legal requirement of the country. Whatever the legal requirements, if you are not compliant, if you, let's say in plantation processes, if you all have used non-legalized register of pesticide, non-legalized chemical, if you apply to your plantation, so that's a non-compliance. If someone has applied, if someone has practiced the pre-harvest intervals at the time of harvesting, if you have not maintained, it's a non-conformance. So all those things has to be maintained. That is customer focusedness. Customer focusedness includes internal customers. Customer focusedness, one facet of customer focusedness is internal customer. Sorry, my spellings. Internal customer, that is covered with non-conformance system. If internal customer, if it passes to external client, you have customer grievances monitoring. So all these non-conformities and customer grievances has to be monitored on time. Identify their, first of all, you have to take remedial actions to stop continuing with it. Then you need to identify the root causes to eradicate the root cause and stop the recurrence of similar non-conformities. So if you have time, you need to get any risk of occurring the same issue in another department or in another factory. So that sort of preventive measures also can be taken. So that is a one facet of customer focus. And there's another way of monitoring customer satisfaction. If you look at customer satisfaction monitoring, there's another way of monitoring. NPS is another method. You know, NPS monitoring is, this is for external clients mainly. NPS is the marks are given from 0 to 6. If you get a call to a mobile service or telecommunication service provider, after the if you call their customer care, you will get a message. If you are satisfied, kindly rate you are given a Likert scale from 0 to 10. Kindly state your satisfaction level. So then if you state somewhere behind satisfaction level, somewhere in between 0 to 6, you are a detractor. If you state your satisfaction level 9 to 10, you are a promoter. You promote that that organization to another person. But the passives are called 7 to 8 are called passives. So you take passives out, they are not balanced. So you take detractors, percentage of detractors are deducted from percentage of promoters. So if your net promoter value, you call it NPS, if your net promoter value is net promoter value, NPS value is a -1, that means your detractors are more. So something you have to do. If your net promoter value is a positive one, then you have more promoters. Generally, one dissatisfied customers at least go and tell 50 people in Sri Lankan context, high context nation like us. Now, our people in Sri Lanka, what we believe is what is in indirect channels, we believe immediately. But Western world, Japanese people, they read something, whether it is in print media or it is published in internet, so then only they believe. Now people, if a bad news goes by word of mouth, then everyone starts believing in it. Our nation, now all these Sri Lanka, India, Bangladesh, all these less developed nations are high context nations. They believe whatever they hear. But the Western world, they believe what is in print media. Even Japanese people are Asians, but still they also believe what is written and published in books or any media, whatever. So this is something eye-opener. This is a one way of TQM is modified to a modern context with new technology and all. So we'll So whatever the ways, what we monitor is, we need to identify systems to see, to monitor the voice of customer. If you monitor, if customer, when customer is dissatisfied, if you are going to monitor, you call it reactive way of monitoring. When customer, if customer is happy, whether the customer is happy, to which extent customer is happy, if you want to see it proactively, you can have NPS kind of customer satisfaction monitoring system. At the same time, you can have your internal employee satisfaction service also. So that may help. At the same time, your non-conformance management system, which is a golden tool, free of charge, given by your ISO system implementers. Please use it. If you don't know how to use it also, we can, I mean, whatever the knowledge we can share with you free of charge. So when coming to next important pillar, the leadership. Leadership of modern total quality management system. So this is American breakfast. In this photograph, you may question me, what is the relationship with leadership and American breakfast? So if you tell me who are the animals who have contributed in order to make American breakfast, who are the animals who have contributed? I'll type here, there are two animals. One animal is pig for bacon, and the eggs are made, eggs were given by hens. Pigs and hens are the two animals who have contributed making American breakfast. Okay. So if I say hens are involved, because now hen has laid egg. After laying the egg, whether the egg is boiled or baked or fried or whatever, hen won't get any pain because egg is not a part of hen's body. So egg is not a part of hen's body. So hen is not going to be bothered. Hen won't get the pain in her body. But where the pigs are concerned, they are committed. They are engaged and committed. They are engaged and committed. So pigs are engaged and committed. Hens are involved. So you got the meaning. So pigs are committed means their flesh has been taken out and made bacon and sausages or whatever. So then they feel the pain in their flesh, but the hens are not. Hens are just involved. They have laid egg. Now, if you look at from where is our management? Our management is from supervisor. If you take our management, if you take the layers of our management, you have several layers. From our top management, to middle management, to frontline management. Japanese people say the smallest manager manages the supervisor. Apart from that, you have non-managerial employees in your organization. You have non-managerial employees. All these are management, right? So you have your goals as an organization. We all have our corporate goals somewhere. You have your targets goals. Your corporate goals are goals are defined by top management, and those goals are cascaded downwards to middle management, like human resource strategy, finance strategy, marketing strategy, sales strategy, logistics strategy, whatever. And those strategies are cascaded downwards to frontline managers as objectives and KPIs. Key performance indicators and objectives. A simple combination. Now, I have an objective to reduce my weight. I have an objective to reduce my weight in 20 kilos within next 2 years' time. So my KPI is, I have two KPIs. I need to do at least 2 hours cardio exercises in the gym daily. That is my KPI. And That is what I do in order to achieve my objective. I need to standardize my calorie intake, daily calorie intake. I need to standardize every meal calorie intake. I need to standardize. So standardize, and I need to keep monitoring them. If I daily go to scale and see my weight, check my weight, it will not helpful. Monitoring objective will not be really helpful to achieve it. But you have to monitor KPIs and identify one or two good KPIs, good KPIs or good measures you need to identify in order to achieve your corporate goals. So if all frontline managers are achieving their KPIs objectives, then middle management will achieve the tactical goals, then the top management will achieve the corporate goals. So that is the combination with leadership. So for that, leadership should provide all the resources, all the in order to create the change. Leadership should provide all the resources from bottom to top. All the leadership should engage in creating the environment for that. So if you have time, please read. There's a book called Our Iceberg is Melting. That is very relevant to our country also. That book has been written by Dr. John Kotler. Our iceberg is melting. So please read it if possible. So that is ideal for the change management. Mainly leadership is engaged with the change management process. This change management, if you look at ISO 9000 standard also, there's a clause for change. Every ISO standard has a clause for change management. So please read that book if you have time. So that is the one of the key areas I wanted to emphasize. So Japanese people have very nice saying for this. Japanese people say, like, your management is like Christopher Columbus. Christopher Columbus style management means Christopher Columbus was a gangster. Not a gangster. He was a kind of a very rough and tough man. He was given a challenge by someone. If this planet Earth is a globe, why don't you go to West and find India? So at that time there was a belief among some people that world is a globe, not a flat surface. So then since they knew how to sail up to India, they knew, but one of the people challenged him, gave a challenge. So world is a globe. So you should be able to go to West and find India. So he didn't know where he was going. He found a dry land. So he named it India. So now we call it West Indies. He missed the big land mass, that is America. He missed. He came back. He didn't know where he was. He thought it was India, and he didn't know where he was. That is called the Christopher Columbus style management. You don't know where you go, where you want to be, whether you have gone there. That is also not there. So, but the Japanese people call it Hoshin Kanri. Hoshin Kanri is in English, top management policy deployment. How the corporate goals are deployed. Now, Hoshin is compass needle in Japanese language. Hoshin is compass needle. Kanri is management. In Japanese language, Kanri means management. So those days before the GPS came to scene, ships are directed by compass needles. So this was the total quality management model given. This was the leadership model given by Japanese people. The TQM was enriched by Japanese Hoshin Kanri. So each topic we can have days to discuss, but you all have all these things in your organization. Now you can relate this with your KPI monitoring system, your corporate planning system. You can relate this. The same things are there, but continuous monitoring is very important. There's another very important point here. I got a rare opportunity of doing consultancy for an airline in order to implement quality and business re-engineering processes for an airline. So at that time, I airline flight operations and aeronautical engineering. So at that time, I learned in aircrafts. Now this was in year 2000. So at that time, they told me, the seniors who taught me in that organization. They told me those days in aircrafts, the cockpit was much more bigger, and cockpit had 3 dedicated seats, one for captain, second officer, and the onboard engineer. But in modern context, at that time, I mean 2000, that is in year 2000, they said nowadays the cockpit, the onboard engine is grounded. Now he has nothing to do with the cockpit. He's grounded. So onboard engineer's role is given to the pilot as a technical crew, the captain and the first officer. Their job is to, and the computer. So computer gives, now pilot is equipped with the equipment to take off automatically. Even if you want, if you don't have right visibility, you can land automatically. Even you can do cruise control automatically. The entire autopilot program is there. The pilot is needed for taxiing. One is taxiing from the runway to apron area, the aircraft taxiing part. One second. Am I audible?
Yeah. Kanishka, we can hear you. Yes.
Can hear you. Can hear.
Okay, sorry. Okay. In modern aircrafts, you have something called ETOPS. You call it ETOPS. ETOPS. There are aircrafts with ETOPS 90, ETOPS 90, ETOPS 120. That means now aircraft has 2 engines. If you lose one engine's control, with single engine you can fly 90 knots. ETOPS 90 means. ETOPS 120 means with single engine you can fly 120 knots. You can fly 120 knots. So where the pilot is needed, when the aircraft route planning is done, route planning is done, they plan an aircraft within 120 knots. If the aircraft is 90 knots aircraft, they plan, when you plan the route, always they keep additional fuel, contingency fuel, as well as they keep at least the within 90 knots, they keep a airport to land in an incident. So pilot is a cockpit manager now. Aircraft can be automated. It can be autopilot. So, but pilot is needed when a crisis occurs. In a time of crisis, pilot is needed. So pilot's role is to keep monitoring the dashboard, cockpit dashboard. You call it cockpit dashboard. Why I took this example is the entire KPI dashboard can be taken as a cockpit dashboard, and you can keep monitoring if one particular gauge is going out of control. We all can contribute and first put that right. So the Hoshin country and the leadership part gives you some insights of that. So that is that is also one eye-opening area of modern TQM principles. Engagement of people, I told you, that is very much in Japanese mindset. That starts with Rajyota, so radio exercises. Every Japanese company, morning, from the senior management to janitor, all come to the same ground and do exercises. And I don't know how practical it is in your environment, your estate culture, the culture of the plantation. How, I don't know to which extent you can do, but we can research and see how we can bring in Hoshin Kanri, Rajyota Iso, the 5 minutes, 5 S. If you are a 5S implemented organization, 5S, 5 minutes, 5S is a engagement activity, human engagement activity. Even 5S major cleaning days, 5S competitions, all those are engaging activity, like the 5S patrolling and Horenso also. Now, in modern context, the terminology has been changed. Engagement of people with interactive communication. Interactive communication. So interactive communication also, there's a small eye opener. We have about 10 minutes more, 12 minutes more. I have a small eye opener. The Japanese people have a golden word called, if you go to most of Japanese companies, this horenso is a very common word. Any Japanese company, operation system includes horenso. I'll look at horenso. That is engagement of people with interactive communication. So this is horenso. Even the company I work, behind the general manager's, behind the vice president's table, in big letters, horenso, it says our policy is horenso. Horenso stands for Hokoku, 3 Japanese words: Hokoku, Renraku, Sodan. If you see here, they are called Hokoku, that is timely reporting. So I don't know whether how people take this with our culture. Japanese superiors, even Japanese immediate supervisors, expect that their subordinates will tell everything they need. I'll give you a typical small example. There was take this parable. There was an incident. Now our company got not our company. There was a company. They in a solicited tendering process. They went for a pre-bid meeting. So they went for the pre-bid meeting, and they started bidding for the tender. They sent their tender documents out. And but later on, the boss came to know, we lost the tender. Our competitor has won the tender. So I'm talking of Hokoku, Horenso's Hokoku. So the boss called their marketing team, sales team, asked, you all went to pre-bid meeting. You all didn't tell me that our competitor came there. So then they said, no, we didn't think of the importance of that to you. So we couldn't tell. So they said, that's why Japanese people always say, tell everything you know to your top management or to your immediate supervisor. Immediate supervisor will scan and identify what is important, what is not important. So if I knew that, I would have coded in a different way to that project. Because of that, because of your negligence to tell me, I lost that tender. So that is called Hokoku. Japanese superiors expect their subordinates to tell everything they know. And Renraku is, you need to have a proper communication system in normal conditions as well as abnormal situations and the emergency conditions. That's why in emergency situations, people panic and a lot of people go to give statements. That's why even that is covered in a new standard called ISO 22301. ISO 22301, Business Resilience and Continuity Management. In that standard also, we need to make a crisis plan. In that standard, there's a model given for crisis planning. In a crisis, who is responsible to talk to media? All these things are well planned. In a crisis, you have to take out that crisis plan that has a template to follow in a crisis. So communication, now communication tool, I'm emphasizing again, NCR and customer complaints form are the main communication tools you all have. If you are, I know you all are ISO certified companies. All companies have this NCR and customer complaints records. These two documents are going to be the main instruments of proper communication. It was started in with Japanese people. The Renraku is the official communication. Anytime you should be able to trace it back. The traceability is there. Then you can identify how many, what was the frequency of happening the same problem, and how can we reduce the frequency. All these things you have information, the communication. I'm a bit fast going, but I want to touch few areas for you to study. Go home and study. And Sodan is consult. If you don't know something, in your organization, you need to have a skill matrix who are competent on, and you need to have a process of making multi-skilled people. So finally, you must be knowing RACI table. No, RACI means responsible, authorized, consulted, and informed. So that was the product. That was the product which has been derived from Japanese Horenso product, Japanese Horenso model. The RACI table for responsibility communication, responsible, authorized, consulted, and informed. That RACI has come from this model. So this includes little changes. So this, if you can use this further, you can use RACI. I have no time to discuss RACI, but if you ask your in-house HR functional officials, you all must be having a similar thing. So that is one area of change. So at the same time, you must be using lots of tools like Slack is a good electronic Kanban system. Kanban is another system, Japanese system, which is to get interactive communication, engage people with interactive communication. Kanban is also another golden system which is used by Japanese people. Kanban, the same Kanban you can see in Trello, electronic Kanban systems. Slack you can use for immediate communication, channel-based communication. You can create even WhatsApp channels you can make. Even Trello, Slack channels are much more focused. Microsoft Teams, all these channel-based communication tools, all those are part of TQM. Part of TQM. The final area I'm going to touch further, that is explicit process approach. Now, at the Japanese time, explicit process approach was not there. There was a process approach, but the older older TQM, there was a process approach. But explicit process approach means you need to identify all the processes inside your organization where possible, and that was initially started with the Deming approach, the plan, do, check, act, Deming circle. But this this turtle diagram model is much more practical when you define a process. So if I look at a process, if I identify a process in your organization, can someone state one simple process that I can elaborate? Can someone help me to find out one process in your organization? Or if I can take any other parable, but if you are interested, I can identify one of your processes here.
We can identify the withering process even in manufacture.
Withering process, okay. Withering process. What is it? So we have to plan in, this is called the CPOC model. I think you all must be aware of CPOC model. CPOC stands for customer, from the rear end I'm telling, customer, output, process, input, and supplier. Okay, the CPOC model is represented in this one. Now, what is the outcome of withering process?
To get the required moisture removed from the green leaf.
Okay, then leaf with right moisture content, right?
Or we can say predetermined moisture content.
Leaf with predetermined moisture level. So that's the outcome. So what are the what are the inputs you need here? Inputs means what are the voice of customer of your internal customer. I mean, in order to do this, you must need some information. What is the
Yes, that
one
is,
can
we need to know the duration.
no, I mean information for production. Today, how many kilos we need to wither? So that production information is needed. No, number one,
Yes,
voice of customer. Your internal. Who is your internal customer here?
here is the next process. Now we can say the rolling process is the internal customer. For withering, it goes to rolling. So rolling process is the next.
Rolling process is the customer.
Yeah.
Rolling process is the customer, and customers, voice of customer. Generally, with Kanban system, you can internally signal. Okay, now we are ready for next batch processing. So it can be your voice of customer can be your production schedule. Your production schedule.
Flow. Yes, yes.
Yes. You call it production schedule, right?
Yes.
Right. So your production schedule is your input. So what are the resources needed? You may be needing. You must need kind of all the withering right environment. Mainly, you can say
temperature, air volume. Those are the inputs needed.
So, and all the equipment tools, 4 M's, mainly 3 M's, machines,
material and
machine equipment, and man, human requirements or human capital requirements, or resources. And who is the process owner? Who is the process owner?
Process owner is, we can call it the factory staff, or he owns the process.
One person, factory.
In charge of the withering, factory staff. As a staff particularly assigned to withering. So he is the owner of that process.
Okay. Factory, he's a leading hand or leading hand? Or?
Yes, yes.
Leading hand factory. Okay. And methods are there. You have your policies. That is
the degree of whether the quantity of leaf, those are the parameters of the methods.
That's right. You have policies, your procedures, the SOPs, parameters, and working instructions, as well as templates to record information.
Yes.
Like can be your ERP electronic templates in the ERP, as well as your hard templates. And these measures are your KPIs. Your KPIs and objectives. These are directly linked to all these KPIs and objectives are linked to your cockpit dashboard. Cockpit dashboard may have meters, like a aircraft cockpit dashboard. It may have meters. All KPIs will be reflected under each process owner's KPIs. So process owner will be accountable in achieving their KPIs. So top management, middle management will be monitoring and flying the aircraft smoothly by looking at all the process related all the process related measures. So at the same time, these processes will have kind of an effect of uncertainty. It can be opportunities and risks because of political factors, economic factors, socio-cultural, as well as technological changes, ecological changes, COVID-19 or whatever, and the legal requirement changes, as well as your internal weaknesses, policies, strengths, and all those things will impact on achieving these goals. So that model is in modern TQM. At the same time, changing interested party needs and expectations also will affect on achieving this. So that strategic model is also in the modern TQM principle. So those are the key factors we need to discuss in modern TQM model, and how we can use it as a game changer. I would emphasize more on non-conformance system. When you say KPI is an objective, your KPI, you need to have KPIs for you need to have KPIs for first pass yield. First pass yield. Sorry. First pass yield, or Japanese people call it FTR, first time right rate percentage, can be one of KPIs, and your NCR rate also can be set as a KPI. How many instances you have failed to meet your internal customer requirements, your organizational policies. So that is the modern TQMs. One of the areas some of the areas we have emphasized. These areas have enough material in internet. You can Google it and see. And I think thank you very much for this. I hope some certain impact I made in your heart to start implementing your current systems, again making them in line with your organization's requirements, and use this TQM as a game changer to improve your industry. If you have any questions, you can ask.
Thank you very much, Kanishka, for that very informative and in-depth. I know that, as you told very correctly, we can talk about weeks and months and all on this particular topic, particular subject area. But as a guest speech today on this particular session, that you have done a wonderful expectation from Hills Plantations team. Thank you very much on behalf of our MD and entire team of Hills Plantations. I would like to again thank you very much on that very informative session, Kanishka. So session is open for the questions. So you all can raise any questions to Mr. Kanishka Pereira. Now it's open. We have another 5 to 10 minutes time.
Thank you, Mr. Gamage. Kindly ask any questions if you all have. I'd be really happy if I can give a kind of a practical solution of even a tiny issue you all currently face.
Good evening, Mr. Pereira. I'm Eranda. Can you
Good
hear
evening,
me?
Mr. Eranda.
Yeah, Mr. Pereira, thank you very much for your informative, in-depth presentation. And
thank you, Mr.
our Dr. Rajadore, Managing Director, and Mr. Untitled Chapter as well, organizing these continuous sessions to update our knowledge. I have one question. Well, we understand we have traveled to Japan. Our company took a very informative tour on Japan, and I was amazed about the Japanese. I mainly see with our, when
Mr.
it comes to Sri
Gamage,
Lankan, so
Mr.
when it comes to
Valikala,
the guys who are working with us,
Mr. Valikala, you are not very audible.
Of the Japanese people and attitude of our people are far too different. So I'm also been trying to maybe, yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes. Now you're
Can
audible.
you hear me, Mr. Pereira?
Yeah, now you're audible,
Yeah.
Mr. Valikala. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So what I see is mainly the attitude of our people and
Yes.
people,
Yes.
how positive they are. And
Yes.
also I some very steps being flexible and maybe repeating the same things maybe 10-15 times, and still we see not even at the lower level, at some level carrying out instructions, or maybe simple things, worrying, or some passion to deliver some work is attitudes are way different with Japanese people.
Yes. Very much.
But
Very much.
you think
Yes.
we should be doing to bridge this gap?
Yes, sir. I think that's an excellent question, Mr. Valikala. Thank you very much for asking that question. Japan and Thailand are different. Japanese people like Thailand very much because Japan and Thailand, those two countries were not colonized. Japan was ruled by their samurais. Thailand also was an unconquered land. Those two lands are unconquered. So because of that, Japanese people in Japanese culture, there's something. Have you? I don't know whether you all have heard it. Since I from my young age I learned Japanese language. I have a lot of Japanese friends. Their
Yes.
culture now in Sri Lanka we have
Yeah.
five sins.
Auntie, now I am
Five
going
sins
to.
kind of thing we have, no, Paspau and all.
Do.
Now, Japanese people believe if you
Right,
do a
correct.
job,
10 minutes time
if you
also
do a
finish.
half job, Japanese people believe if you do a half job and earn a salary, and if you feed your children with that money, it's a sin. So you should not feed by doing a half job. If and at the same time, if you take a CEO and a janitor in a Japanese organization, both are equally honored because janitor believes I'm also equally important where my area of work is, my scope of work is concerned. But in colonial mindset, what we do is even that's how the colonials have made. That's in Bangladesh now. On behalf of Justica, I have done several programs in Bangladesh. I mean, residential kind of programs in Bangladesh. I used to be there regularly. They are also the same. So all Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Burma, if you take all colonized countries, what they do is they like to do something and show their boss, get the credit from the boss, then they forget it. Then it is not a program of that person. Even you can be the Akimoto Awards winner this year, next year you can go to your own place. You will go back to the own level. So because what happens, our people want to do something and get the paymaster. Actually, their focus is to get the paymasters. Don't get me wrong or anything. I mean, I'm telling about the entire nation. I mean, not only Sri Lanka, this entire subcontinent. They want to satisfy the paymaster. So once the paymaster is satisfied, that project is not his project. So in order to bridge that gap, you asked that question. That's because we were a colonized nation. Japan is an uncolonized nation. Due to unconventional nuclear bomb, they were defeated. Otherwise, there is no way of defeating Japanese people. Until the last person dies, they fight. They never go back. If they come to a battle, they never go back. So what is the only solution is you need to set short-term victories and the long-term victories to all your middle management, frontline management, not the middle management, I mean to your frontline management, supervisors, executives, managers, you need to set short-term victories as well as long-term goals, as well as you need to create a culture for continuous changing. So what you can do is your cockpit dashboard measurements. So everything you can convert to a whatever the performance achievements, everything you can convert to a KPI and cockpit dashboard model. There should be a method established to monitor it regularly, and everyone should know that is communicated to the top management, the paymaster. So then only our people are motivated. So that has to be in a you can use simple visual management techniques like Google Sheets, like the crib of bank's crib. When you're giving a loan, when you're given a loan, your crib is Credit Information Bureau has a kind of your credit history report. So So that should be virtually, it should be like a green grass lawn, grass grown green lawn. So like it should be green color. So otherwise your credit history is bad. Similarly, the process performance also should be converted into a visual management. That's a visual management, converted into a visual management communication method, and it has to be communicated to all levels of the organization. Then everyone knows, if I don't achieve this, that is communicated to my top management, that is communicated to my paymaster. Then everyone will start working on that. If you take Sri Lankan companies who have gone to the global level by implementing Japanese highways, Kaizen, visual management, they all have done it for a long time. And if you can do it for a long time and withstand for 9 months, that is going to be a habit of people. So then they started working on that culture. But only thing, our culture, now Japanese people, if you take a project plan of a Japanese person, that is 3W. What's to be done, who is responsible, when is the deadline. In a colonial country, 3W action plan should have another column. What is the next review date? What's to be done, who is responsible, when is the deadline, what is the next review day, who is responsible for reviewing. So without the Japanese people, review column is not needed, because once it is given to them, they will do until you say no, they will do it. They know my children are fed with clean money I earned with what I promised to do. So that's the culture difference. So I think we need to inculcate that by bringing in visual management. I think that is a very good question. Thank you very much, Mr. Iranda, for asking that question.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Iranda, for that question, and thank you very much, Kanishka. So I think we have gone more than 1 hour. I think Mr. Kanishka has invested with us another more than 1 hour, nearly about 75 minutes. So it's time to wind up today's session. Before I wind up, I would like to invite our Managing Director also, before if we want to give any final remarks, sir. Okay, with that, I think it's time to wind up today's session. And on behalf of our Managing Director, Dr. Roshan Rajdore, and the entire team of Helis Plantations, I would like to again convey our deep appreciation to Mr. Kanishka Pereira. I think I know your timeline, your diary is very comprehensive and full of responsibilities, even at late hours. So coming out from that busy schedules, they have given us more than 1 hour to listen to you with your deep knowledge on this particular subject area. And also, I know that you are expert on 5 years Kaizen and other Japanese management techniques as well. So with that note, let me again thank you very much. And we have a small token of appreciation, Kanishka. I think on virtual ground, I can only show it to you. I will ensure that it will be to your doorstep. So again, I'd like to thank you. And thank you very much for all the participants, especially our Managing Director, Dr. Roshan Rajdore, with his busy schedule. He was with us all throughout all this 22 second session as well. So next session will be another 10 days time. And please reserve your diary, 24 session with our Managing Director. So he has already announced a topic as well. So we will keep you updated. So we are going to conclude by 25th session in mid of May. Keep your diaries free. We will let you know the dates, and we wish you all the very best. And we'll see you again with another fantastic and educative session. Thank you very much. Have a great evening. Good night.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gamage. Thank you very much, all. Thank you very much, Mr. Rajdore.
Thank